Good evening and welcome to Common Council for Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Odekirk.
Present.
Hanson.
Present.
Mattsdorf.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Wilson. Shilsky.
Present.
Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. As we're standing, we're going to call up Troop, Girl Scout Troop 8225 to lead us in the pledge. Yep, single file is fine. Okay. That's good. So, ready? You have to start us off because we don't know how to start. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
But we have Girl Scout Troop 8225 with us this evening. Next item is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Odekirk.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Shilsky.
Yes.
Gilson.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the audience portion where we ask people to sign in and be recognized by the chair. You do the talking and we do the listening. Tonight, we have a couple people that came in. First one is Steve Falk. Steve?
Yeah.
Wherever you're comfortable, you can do it right there. As long as you use your outside voice so the microphone pick you up.
All right, my name is Steve Falk. I live at 2323 Douglas Drive in Plymouth. I've been residing there since like 2020. What I want to address to the council is there's a way we can improve the safety for pedestrians crossing at the intersection of Douglas and North Pleasant View. I've had several instances where it was close, and last week was really close. The lady came right by along me, she never slowed down, came in from 23, never slowed down one bit, and never even saw me. I don't know what she was doing, but you know, I went like this, just mean crosswalks. There's a couple of issues. One is the speed limits. That I know would have to be like probably between the town of Plymouth and the city of Plymouth. I don't know if much would be done with that, but when you come off of Highway 23, it's 35, and 35 miles an hour continues till right after the intersection of Douglas Drive, not before, it's after on the south side. So it would be nice if they could lower the speed limit on that whole stretch to 25, or even at the intersection of Pleasant View and Kiley Way, or before Douglas Drive at the minimum. You know, the city limit is out by the Kiley Way intersection. That's where the city limit sign is. So I don't know whose jurisdiction the road is. But that's one of the issues is the speed. The other issue is if we could install like warning signs for crosswalks, because when they're coming in and they're going 35 and you've got the trees planted along the road, if you're not familiar with the area, those people don't even know that Douglas Drive exists until you're right on top of it. And there's no pedestrian crosswalk warning signs or anything. So I was just bringing that up to see if there's anything we can maybe look at and make some changes to make it a little more safe.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the
I just have
comment.
some bullet stuff.
Sure.
That's all.
That would be appreciated.
Do you have any questions or otherwise? That's all.
We don't allow question and answer during the
Okay.
public portion.
All right.
Thank
That's
you.
all I got. Just
Thank you.
thanks.
Next person that signed up is Jenna Howell. Jenna?
As a teacher, so I have a hand up too. Sorry.
Somebody's watching us on TV.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Howell. I'm a Plymouth resident in Ward 8. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak publicly. I'm here requesting that the council amend Plymouth Municipal Ordinance 7119 related to the keeping of chickens on residential property. Specifically, I'm requesting that section B, which requires written consent from each adjacent property owner as a prerequisite to receiving a license, be removed or modified and replaced with a more reasoned standard. I do have a few points and I won't read completely through all of them. I'll leave that to you if you'd like to in your own time. But the ordinance allows an individual an unreasonable level of control over their neighbor's property. An adjacent property owner can withhold consent for any reason or, in our case, no reason. Even if the properties are situated in a way where the potential for disruption or nuisance is non-existent. It doesn't seem like the ordinance is tailored to address concerns about noise or nuisance. It simply just grants the blanket authority to an individual neighbor without requiring any justification for their decision, which creates a frustrating and unnecessary power dynamic. Currently, for people living on the same block, some property owners are allowed to keep chickens, but others who are unlucky enough to have bought property next to the wrong people, again, unfortunately in our case, are not allowed to keep chickens. A resident may decide to allow the neighbor on one side of their property to keep, but withhold consent from the neighbor on the other side. Or a resident who keeps chickens on her own property can withhold consent from her neighbors. The property owner who withholds consent might not even live in Plymouth the majority of the year, could have a secondary home elsewhere, or maybe there's no birds. But they hold this authority over people who are here year-round and have a legitimate interest in keeping chickens. I'm not aware of any other circumstances where an individual is allowed without providing any justification or reason to dictate what another individual can do on her property. For example, keeping a loud dog on their property, preventing neighbors from using chemicals to treat their lawn that can be dangerous to wandering children and pets. People cannot prevent their neighbors from putting up fences in certain places or obnoxious lawn ornaments. Chickens, who are really pets in this context, especially for us, are not allowed to leave their pen and make far less noise than barking dogs. So holding this activity to a different standard simply has no legitimate basis. And the ordinance as written does not provide a standard. The consent requirement is an arbitrary and frustrating hurdle to those of us who want to teach our kids about responsibility and how to be a good neighbor. And also to be involved in 4-H, we really like that, and we're not lucky enough to have a country property, but this is a way in which we can do that and teach our kids about responsibility and sustainable living and giving back to the lands and composting responsibly and everything that comes with it. There are plenty of workable ways to safeguard everyone's interest, in my opinion, and the ordinance could be amended to include placement limitations, considering property size maybe, or putting the approval in the hands of a neutral third party, require that each neighbor decide maybe as a community whether to allow chickens, so that we can't be singled out by a stubborn neighbor. And then at the bottom I did list some other cities that I've looked into that have ordinances, and a lot of them do not require consent of the neighbors, or if they did, they've dropped it. Or it's more of a percentage, or it depends again on the property size or other circumstances. So thank you for your time, and that's all that I have.
Thank you very much. Once again, we appreciate it when people come in and address the council and their concerns on any and all matters. Moving on to item 5, no items were removed from the consent agenda, therefore it's not needed. Moving on to item 6, and this is our fun item this evening. So once again, I'll ask Troop 8225 to come up, and I'll ask Alder Oedeker to join me because she's the one who brought this forward. So with this, I'll read the proclamation, and you have to turn so that the camera picks you up, and you can wave if you want to. But you have to say cheese because people are watching, so come on up here. Proclamation, whereas Girl Scout Troop 8225 has attained the Girl Scout Bronze Award, and The Girl Scout Bronze Award is the third highest award of Girl Scouts in the United States of America and the highest award that a Girl Scout junior can earn. And whereas the Girl Scout Bronze Award project requires Girl Scouts to complete a Girl Scout junior journey and complete a community take action project with a minimum of 20 hours. The project must be sustainable in the community, and whereas this award exemplifies hard work, dedication, and commitment, whereas members of Girl Scout Troop 8225 are members of Girl Scouts of the United States, Girl Scouts of Manitou, and the community of Plymouth, Wisconsin. And whereas Girl Scout Troop 8225's Bronze Award project included researching the mitigation and life cycle of monarch butterflies, giving virtual presentations to several elementary classes in Plymouth, and providing students with educational bookmarks created by members of Troop 8225. Members of Troop 8225 also planted plants to attract butterflies in the Horizon Elementary School garden. Now therefore, I, Donald Coleman, Mayor of the City of Plymouth, and on behalf of the community, wish to congratulate Girl Scout Troop 8225 on their outstanding community achievement, and further wish the members of Girl Scout Troop 8225 continued success in their future endeavors. So with that, someone should go up with Alder Odekirk and accept the proclamation.
Congratulations.
And who was, and even brought a nice information panel for us. Who was to tell us about monarchs?
Yes.
Should I pick? No! Just a couple words.
So they basically follow instinct by following the sun. They start from it's like a caterpillar or an egg first, actually. A caterpillar, then a pupa, and then the adult, which is the butterfly. Migrating monarchs can fly up to 30 miles per hour. And it also takes several generations, life cycles, to make it to Mexico for them.
So do they have a built-in GPS system?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, then how do they know which way to go?
They follow a leader if they have one,
Okay.
most often.
Anybody else want to add something? This is your chance, or forever hold
What do
your peace.
you guys remember from the project? Anything?
Why did we plant the plants with the girls at not with the classes at Horizon? What was the purpose of those plants?
To help the monarchs have their children.
And it's what they, exactly.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for coming and doing that work, because butterflies are important to us. They also help pollinate, and pretty flowers come out everywhere, so that's nice. Thank you very much. So now that we did everything and made it presentable, The chair will entertain a motion to approve the proclamation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 7, citizen committee appointments. The mayor hereby appoints to the Fire and Police Commission for a 5-year term, James Flanagan. And item B, to the Joint Review Board, Grace Meyer. Moving on to, so everybody understands, we're now going to go into a closed session, so we're going to ask you to leave. So thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85 paren 1 paren C for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or other performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility regarding interim police chief and city administrator utility manager. Let the record show we're now back in open session. Next item, item 10, discussion and possible action on closed session. I'll call on Council President Hildebrand for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with the creation of the interim police chief, compensate Matt Thurker, retroactive back to May 9th of 2022, an additional $2 per hour.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on the motion, please.
Gilson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Odekirk.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Matsdorf.
Yes.
Shilsky.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We stand adjourned. Thank you.